The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman.
Hello, everyone, and thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Every 8 Hours. If you're new to the channel was called Every 8 Hours because when I started the channel, a black woman or a black child, female, was being murdered by someone who was supposed to love them. Since then, we have discovered that it's now every 5 hours that a black woman or black child has been murdered by someone who's supposed to love them. More times than none, it's by a black man. Sometimes it's not. Tonight's story will be about 32-year-old Jasmine Donaldson of Nashville, Tennessee. Jasmine was born on August the 3rd of 1989 in Nashville, Tennessee. She graduated from Hillwood High School in 2007 and then attended Tennessee State University, where she earned her Bachelor's of Psychology in August of 2012. While attending Tennessee State University, she joined one of the prestigious sororities, Zeta Phi Beta sorority, and it looked like she was enjoying her life. She has a lot of pictures on her page from her college days and with her friends and with her other sorority members and fraternity members, and it looked like she was just enjoying her life, single, black, educated, just, what it's giving, just doing the things that everybody that age should be doing when they're in their, early teen, enjoying life and carefree. And so life was good. In 2014, she got engaged, and then somewhere along there, she got married. And then in 2015, she gave birth to a little girl. So she was having a good life. The fellow that she married was part of a fraternity as well. I'm not sure if she met him in school or how she met him. I wasn't able to figure that part out. But from the outside looking in, it looked like they had a great relationship. She seemed like she got one of the good guys. And so in 2019, she graduated again from University of Phoenix with her Master's of Health Administration in February of 2019. So this lady was a scholar, and looking over her life and learning different things about her, it really made me proud as someone who also went back and got their master's. Black women are doing it, and people don't talk about that enough. We are doing the damn thing. We are going back to school. We are the most educated. A lot of people don't like to admit that, but we are. And she was definitely doing that. And at the time, before this incident happened, she was actually back in school working on her doctorate. So she was very educated, very intelligent, and I just really loved her life. She was also a certified Reiki practitioner. And those who don't know what Reiki is, it's a Japanese form of energy healing. So she was a healer. It's a type of alternative medicine. Reiki practitioners use a technique called palm healing or hands-on healing, through which a universal energy is said to be transferred through the palms of the practitioner to the patient in order to encourage emotional or physical healing. And that was just some of Jasmine's work. And if you close your eyes, you can really, really feel that. Jasmine was loved. She was known as a healer. And what happens in her story, I can't even describe. I will have to show you guys the news story, and then I can come back with my commentary and further explain.
Good evening. A Nashville man is heartbroken tonight after his wife and mother were stabbed yesterday within hours of each other.
Metro Police say the man's brother is the person who did it. WSMV4's Courtney Allen spoke with the family tonight. Courtney.
Tracy Lauren, John Donaldson says he and his wife both grew up here in Nashville. They even were in the same kindergarten class. Rashad says that he was planning to celebrate his wife's birthday today. Instead, he's planning her funeral.
Rashad Donaldson says his wife, Jasmine, is his rock.
Jasmine was strong for others.
They share a 7-year-old daughter, Zania.
A height of joy in my life, it was when I came and put my arms around them.
The girls were home Tuesday morning while Rashad was at work when his phone started buzzing.
My brother takes 911. I called my brother back, and he was distraught. He was telling me about my mom. You know, mom's been through this happened to mom.
Rashad left to drive to his mom's house when he got another call.
My mother-in-law calls me. She says, hey, you need to check on Zania. Go to the house right now. Something's not right.
Rashad calls Zania.
She's crying. She's like, hey, I think mom died. You see what I'm saying? Like, hey, I think mom died. She won't say anything.
Metro police say Rashad's brother, 32-year-old John Donaldson, went to Rashad's house and stabbed Jasmine to death. This was after police say John had already gone to their mother, Jacqueline Pritchett's house, and stabbed her to death.
I'm so caught up in my wife that I know that at some point in time, I gotta deal with the reality that my mother's gone.
Police say they believe John had recently been kicked out of his mother's apartment. Rashad says John suffered from mental health issues but refused to get help.
Our family was about the policy, hey, protect yourself around this guy.
Rashad says he struggles with his own mental health, attempting to take his life in 2019. With support from Jasmine, Rashad says he got help.
She changed all that around. She showed me the strength of the other side.
Rashad says the strength his wife taught him will help him face his brother.
One day, it's gonna crush him and crumble his heart, the reality of the situation. And because the love that Jasmine showed me, I want to be able to say, hey, I still love you.
Police say John Donaldson also attacked a second sister-in-law of his at his mom's house yesterday. She remains hospitalized in critical condition. Donaldson is expected in court tomorrow. Lauren, Tracy.
Courtney, that is just so compelling. Thank you very much. And
So, as you guys can see, this story is very layered. So, apparently, he knocked on his mother's door, apartment door, around 11 a.m. on August the 2nd, and his 9-year-old nephew let him in. He entered enraged and attacked his mother, 56-year-old Jacqueline Pritchett, with a knife, fatally stabbing her, so he murdered the mom. Then he began to stab his sister-in-law. His sister-in-law was 29 years old. Her name was Janelle Stewart Tuggle, and she was trying to protect a 9-year-old boy and his 7-year-old niece, police said. Stewart Tuggle was critically injured, so that's his other brother's wife, who was critically injured, and she is being treated at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. The children were unharmed. He then took his mother's car keys and fled to his brother's home on Hickorydale Drive. You 32, you don't even have a car or a home. Once at his brother's house, he kicked in the door when no one would answer. Inside, he found his other sister-in-law, 32-year-old Jasmine Donaldson, and another niece, which was Jasmine's daughter. His sister-in-law was in the bathroom when he entered. He attacked her with the knife, fatally stabbing her before fleeing. None of the children at either of these residences were hurt. And that's where you hear the dad say that the daughter, Xenia, called him and said, something is wrong with mom. I think mom died. And this little girl is 7 years old. Why should a 7-year-old know about death? Oh, this story is too much. So he murdered his mom and he murdered his brother's wife. And now his brothers and the rest of the family have to grieve these two women. This is so sad. And as you saw, not only did he have mental health issues, but the brother who was married to Jasmine also had mental health issues. And mental health issues run rampant in the Black community. And so many of us do not want to get help, or we feel like it's embarrassing, or we just think that, oh, I'm not crazy. And that's what keeps causing these situations. And a lot of these situations are happening, and mental health is a big key role with it. It's just devastating for him to have to bury his mom and bury his wife. So, ladies, not only is this is not just a story about every 5 hours a black woman is murdered. This is two black women around the same time, like an hour apart from each other, of being murdered. So you can't tell me that you don't understand that these numbers will change. And it's sad to say, but they will be more frequent because this is happening every day. Every day, some person is snapping, usually a black man, and murdering a black woman or a black child. And this has got to stop. This is a crisis. This is a crisis. I feel like a lot of us as black women are bringing attention to it, but I don't feel like the mainstream media is doing anything about it. For instance, if you think about the cases that have went on, let's take the Gabby Petito girl, the white girl, blonde hair, who went missing with a boyfriend. I mean, that was on every news station. You couldn't turn the TV on. You couldn't turn the radio on. All you would hear is Gabby Petito. Some of these cases I've never heard on the news, ever. And if I didn't go digging, I wouldn't have found these cases. Our stories are not being reported, and attention is not being brought to this situation as it should be. I do think it's good that the next day after Jasmine Donaldson passed away, they celebrated her birthday, and a lot of her friends said that the one thing she would always do would be celebrate her birthday, and so they made it a point to celebrate her birthday. I thought that was pretty dope. Also, they had a GoFundMe to raise money to help her get buried, and they did reach their goal, which is good. But I mean, just taking into account all of this, first you have the rest of the family, the adults who are traumatized, but not just them, the kids. I mean, at least he had mercy on the kids and he didn't do anything to them. But in actuality, he did do something to them because he's traumatized them. This will stick with them for the rest of their lives. The two kids, the son and the daughter, who were there when they witnessed the other sister-in-law get stabbed, and hopefully she survived. She's in critical condition and she's in the hospital. So hopefully she will survive, because if not, this will be 3 murders on his hand. But the two kids who witnessed, a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old, witnessed the mother get murdered and the sister-in-law get stabbed. And then over at Jasmine's house, her daughter witnessed her get murdered. And the daughter didn't even really, she understood, but she didn't really understand. She said, I think mom's dead. And it's so heartbreaking. This story is so overwhelming and it's so heartbreaking. And that's why I had to show the news story, because there's no way I could have broke all that down the way that it was broken down by the news. But every 5 hours, and maybe even more frequently, a black woman or a black child is being murdered by someone who's supposed to love them. And y'all, in this case, I mean, even the husband, who is the brother of the killer, said they were always staying safe around him. And that's really sad. When your family, you have to stay safe around family members, or you have to protect yourself around family members. But in this case, I mean, I don't see where there was anything that she could have done to protect herself. I mean, he kicked in the door. He kicked in the door. And I'm thinking that when he knocked on the door, they probably got silent when she probably saw him out the window and got silent, because they know his history and they know that he was crazy. And he had a string of criminal history, of course. He had robberies, domestic violence. That's probably why the mother told him to stay away. But I mean, like I said, our heads have to be on swivel, because you just never know. I wish there was some type of way that she had a gun and was just ready for him, because hey, if you bring a gun to a knife fight, the knife person is gonna lose. And I just wish that she had access to a gun, but she would have had to known that that's what he was coming over there for. It's really sad. And then to think about her as a sister-in-law, having to go to such measures to pull out a gun on her brother-in-law, like that whole situation is just tragic. I thank God that he didn't touch the children, physically, even though he did touch them mentally. I pray that they heal from this. You just never know what they'll experience. Jasmine seemed like she was a light, just a bright light in dark spaces. You heard how her husband said that she stopped him from committing suicide. I mean, that takes a lot of strength, and most of the time, Black women, we are expected to display this amount of strength. But where is the support for us? Where are we getting our strength from? The situation is very sad. It's very sad. Ladies, protect yourself. Keep your head on swivel. There's really nothing you can say in this situation. It wasn't her husband. Most of these stories I've done, it's been the husband. This story is totally different. It was a son and a brother-in-law who murdered his own mother and his sister-in-law. And that is just tragic. May Jasmine rest in peace. May her family find peace. And may all the children and all the people involved get the help that they need. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.